Hello and welcome to the online grade 11 classes. So we are continuing the second part of chapter number 5, the Ailing Planet, from our Hornbill book. Now we have seen that our author Nani Palkhiwala has been informing us and giving us information about the green movement. So let's look at the last part of this. A 3-year study using satellites and aerial photography conducted by the United Nations warns that the environment has deteriorated so badly that it is critical in many of the 88 countries investigated. Now you know what are satellites. When we put satellites in the space and aerial photography, we can check out the environment. These are small, for example, a drone camera will fly all over an area, and that will give us a video and a live video coverage of the situation of the environment. So this gives an information that it has badly deteriorated. Deteriorated means finished, decaying, that is like completely ending. There can be no doubt that the growth of the world population is one of the strongest factors distorting the future of human society. It took mankind more than 1 million years to reach the first billion. That was the world population around the year 1800. By the year 1900, a second billion was added, and the 20th century has added another 3.7 billion. The world population is estimated at 5.7 billion. Every 4 days, the world population increases by 1 million. So with the growing population of the world, it is our responsibility to protect the earth, to preserve the natural resources rather than destroying them. Fertility rises as incomes rise, education spreads, and health improves. Thus, development is the best contraceptive, but development itself may not be possible if the present increase in numbers continue. Now look at it. Fertility falls as incomes rise. Okay? Fertility, that is the birth rate. It is falling, the income is rising, the education is spreading, and the health is improving. Development is the best option, but then development itself may not be present to increase the number. The rich get richer and the poor beget children, which condemns them to remain poor. Yes, this has been the logic ever since, that the rich get more and more rich and the poor suffer more. More children does not mean more workers, merely more people without work. It is not suggested that human beings be treated like cattle and compulsorily sterilized, but there is no alternative to voluntary family planning without introducing an element of coercion. The choice is really between control of population and perpetuation of poverty. Now see, having a larger population does not mean that we have more workers, but rather we have a higher rate of unemployment. The population of India is estimated to be 920 million today, more than the entire populations of Africa and South America put together. No one familiar with the conditions in India would doubt that the hope of the people would die in their hungry hutments unless population control is given topmost priority. Now, if we have an increase in population, we should have an increase in the demands also, but there is no increase in the supply. If we add up the population of India, it covers the entire population of Africa and South America put together. And with the development going on in India, there is more rate of hungry people, there is more rate of unemployment. But control, the population control, is not considered, which should be our first priority. That is the first important thing to notice. For the first time in human history, we see a transcending concern, the survival not just of the people but of the planet. We have begun to take a holistic view of the very basis of our existence. The environmental problem does not necessarily signal our demise. It is our passport for the future. The emerging new world has ushered in the era of responsibility. It is a holistic view, an ecological view, seeing the world as an integrated whole rather than a dissociated collection of parts. Now look at it for the first time in human history, we are now observing that there is a concern not just for the people in the world but also for the planet. And we have begun to take a holistic view of the basis of our existence. Why should we take care of our environment? Why should we take care of the existence of people rather than just observe that everything is degrading, everything is finishing? We have to take care of our future. And how will this be done? By taking care of our earth, by having an ecological view and the world as an integrated whole rather. Industry has a most crucial role to play in this era of responsibility. Water transformation would be affected if more Businessmen shared the view of the chairman of DuPont, Mr. Edgar Ed Woolard, who 5 years ago declared himself to be our company's chief environmental officer. He said, "Our continued existence as a leading manufacturer requires that we excel in environmental performance." Of all the statements made by Margaret Thatcher during the years of her prime ministership, none has passed so decisively into the current coin of English usage as her felicitous words. "No generation has a freehold on this earth. All we have is a life tenancy with a full repairing lease. In the words of Lester Brown, we have not inherited this earth from our forefathers, we have borrowed it from our children." So we have to understand these precious words from these two people, that this generation does not have a freehold on the earth. We are here today, tomorrow we shall not exist. While we exist in this world, we have to take care of our earth. Mr. Lester Brown says that this earth has not been given to us by our forefathers. We have borrowed it only from our children, that is the future generation. We should preserve it. We should take care of it. The green movement is a very important step. We have to follow it. We have to take care of this earth. And that is what about the ailing planet tells us.